Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we come back with another session of questions and answers, as we do every Tuesday. Been a little bit lost the last couple of weeks. Been very busy getting ready with the last preparations for Christmas and all of that. But still wanted to come back with a last couple of sessions before the year ends to clarify a couple of questions we've been receiving, and also to make sure I give some highlights about some of the news I have seen in the space, right? As I always do with all these sessions. Before we get started with today's session, I want to remind you all to make sure to check all our social media channels, specifically our YouTube channel, when we are launching content on a weekly basis. Actually, yesterday we launched a very interesting topic, this specifically for our Spanish community, around something around new regulations in Europe, and some countries now you can take advantage of import duty. Last week as well, we had a couple of guests. One of them, Don from Acrumi. We talk about mindset around everything that's to basically running a business. Amazing episode, and many other episodes actually that we've been releasing for the last couple of weeks, which we haven't had these sessions. So make sure you check them out, and also make sure to subscribe, guys. I mean, we have like I believe 70-80% of people that watch your channel is not subscribed, so please make sure to subscribe so we can keep you can keep getting notified of this content we're putting out there for you. Awesome. So let's get started with today's session. I'm gonna start first with news, some things I have seen, things I want to highlight, and then we jump straight away into the questions. Make sure if you're watching this in live, if you have some questions specific, make sure to drop it down in the comments. I'm gonna receive it here in live, and I can answer for you. Otherwise, if you want to send the question afterwards by email, as some people do, feel free to do so, and we cover in the next one. Okay, so let's get started with the first news I have seen, and I think this one is very interesting, guys. The first one is have to do with the merchant fulfilled orders, and this is usually when you go about in your Amazon inventory and basically you create an order, right? Most likely, this a lot of people that will use this feature is people that have like a Shopify, like a Shopify website, and basically they want to use their pool of inventory from the Amazon pool of inventory, and they will create an order from Amazon. Now Amazon has basically released a new policy that they have removed all the branded information from the packaging, and this actually for some people is big, because some of the negative side of using Amazon to fulfill some of your orders for your Shopify or whatever is your provider for your website is that it was coming on an Amazon box. So then if for some reason you had a better pricing on Amazon, or your customer were Prime, or something like that, you could basically cannibalize your own sales in your Shopify, right? Or website. So now the box is not going to come with any branding. That means nobody is going to know that that order is coming from Amazon. So it's a big thing, especially for those who have channels out of Amazon. I want to keep using their inventory within what they have already with the FBA, right? So that's one of the news I wanted to highlight. The other one I wanted to also bring to the table, this one was around almost 2 weeks now ago, and I couldn't give the update because we didn't have the session until now. But one of the things most likely you're gonna see is that there are some attributes that are compulsory now, especially starting 1st of December. Some of them have to do with the color name, product description, and also the department name. This is gonna apply to specific categories, so make sure you check your listings, like click edit and see if some field is going to appear now in red. That is going to request you to fill to complete the field, and just complete it and make sure you put the right information so the listing gets activated once more. Another thing that I feel this is going to be very useful specifically for those that are getting just started in the Amazon space, and they want to grow their brand and all of that. Amazon released something that is also relatively new. You're gonna find it under brands, and basically the option is gonna be called Build Your Brand. And now basically Amazon has built a whole portal that gives you all the information when it comes to what you need to basically build your brand on Amazon. So it gives you all the content when it comes to what are the things you're gonna need to build your brand loyalty, what are the things you're gonna need to build your audience, how you can protect your brands. And it's very nice because now what they have done is they have categorized all the tools that they offer within brand analytics, and also brand register and so on under the same page. So now it's very easy for you to understand, okay, these are all the things I get as a benefit for being a brand, such as the A plus content, and so on. So check her out, and especially if you want to understand what are some of the benefits of having the brand racer with Amazon, because sometimes people think it's just brand having the A plus content, but trust me, it's much more than that. And I think other than that, let's see if we have other news here in the space. Yeah, those were some of the main things I saw when it comes to news specifically affecting the Amazon ecosystem. What I'm gonna start also doing is also bringing news that in the e-commerce space, because sometimes there are external things that can also affect our performance within Amazon business. So in the coming sessions, we're gonna be doing with questions and answers and preparing some content where we're actually gonna go also outside of Amazon, like things globally that can be affecting your sales, how other marketplaces can be an opportunity, things like that, and what is happening overall. So that is around news. Now I'm going to start bringing some of the questions that we've been basically receiving. I'm going to put them on the screen. I'm going to try to cover them as efficiently as possible for all of you. Okay, so let's see what we got in here. Awesome. So first question that we got in here. Let's see, which ratio do you recommend having between PPC and organic sales? I mean, ideally, on an ideal scenario, usually we had this ratio that most people are saying that 60-70% you want to be coming from organic and 30% from PPC. Once you reach that ratio, it's the holy grail. You're making it on Amazon, right? The reality is that those ratios are shifting. It's now almost opposite, right? In some scenarios, and the reason for that is because Amazon is being very strong when it comes to adding more placements within the search results that have all just to do with PPC. It's becoming, in some sense, kind of pay to win. I mean, if you see some of the first pages of some of the search results, you're going to find 70-80% of the page is coming from PPC placements. Organics almost come into a very minimal basically a discovery opportunity, right? So it's more important than ever to be running PPC, especially on your main keywords. The days that you can rely strongly just on organic is very difficult now. So that's why the ratio, realistically, I would say now we are reaching a point where it's very normal to have 50-60% sometimes coming from PPC. Again, this is going to depend significantly on what you're doing outside of Amazon in terms of branding. If you're a very strong brand and you have a lot of branded keywords that come organically and you're already positioned those, this ratio might be completely different. But overall, yes, you're going to see the ratio of PPC and organic sales being higher than what it used to be. As I mentioned, it's normal, especially now with everything's happening, that a lot of the categories are pay to win, and for sure PPC is a key factor nowadays to be able to keep scaling your sales and succeeding on Amazon. Okay, awesome. Let's see which other question here. How efficient is to run Google Ads to your Amazon listing? Fun enough, when it comes to Google Ads, we lately been be partnering, and actually we got certified by AMPD, which is actually a company that specializes on everything that has to do with helping running Google Ads to your Amazon listings and be able to track the whole performance. Because one of the biggest issues we always had when it comes to running Google Ads is that it was very difficult to run any kind of good attribution when it comes to understanding what is going on, then be able to congregate all the data only the same dashboard, understand which keywords are performing, which keywords are not. And lately, I mean, it's been a very good experience. I would say it's definitely going to vary significantly on the type of pros. Some pros for sure you're not going to see a good performance when it comes to running Google Ads, and it's strictly just to the nature of how Google works, right? So you need to understand that it's something that people buys with very impulsive. And what I mean by this is, if we're talking about phone cases, things that are $10 or cheap, or very cheap products, most of them people are not going to go to Google to do some kind of research before making any kind of purchase. So most likely they go directly to Amazon. But we're talking of medium to high end price tickets, right? Selling prices. And then basically you see pros that most likely people's gonna go look for. What are the top 10? I don't know. Let's think about something expensive. Top 10 microphones, right, for podcasting, as an example. you're talking pros that most likely starting $100 and up. Then when you start targeting these keywords, then for sure you're gonna have a bigger opportunity for driving that traffic to Amazon. Specifically, you're tracking keywords such as top 10 microphones, Amazon, top microphones in Amazon, what is the best microphone in 2023, and trying to target specific keywords that will match specifically. This is another thing. When you run Google Ads, you need to be very specific. Try to not be very broad. Like, for example, if your microphone is specifically for doing, for example, gaming, right? Gaming microphone, right? You want to make sure that you don't target any keyword that has to do just with microphone, right? Something very broad. Because another thing we have found with Google Ads is that you need to be very specific and you need to be very tailored to specify and target, to try to target as close as possible the audience that really resembles what is which will be the avatar of your product, right? Of the person that would buy your product. So for sure, you're always gonna find mixed feelings when it comes to Google Ads because again, it's very strictly related to the kind of product. From our experience, usually work best from medium to high end products in terms of pricing, and also you need to make sure that it's usually a product that can be described in a very detailed way. So if you're selling just glasses, I mean, you're gonna first it's gonna be super expensive and second super generic, and most likely it's not gonna work. But if you're selling, I don't know, glasses that are made, I'm taking now out of the blue here, but it's a glass made of some specific material, glass that comes from volcanic rock in the middle of Hawaii, whatever, something that's super niche, and you know there is actually a need around those keywords, and you have done your research. With keyword planner and so on, then for sure go for it. But overall, yeah, you want to make sure that you go very in depth when it comes to targeting keywords that are super relevant to your product, and also the approach that people will research the their beginning is searching phase starts in Google. Also, this one taking consideration, just to go back to the avatar, also the age of your clients. I mean, you need to understand usually high brackets in terms of age, people over 30, 40 is more used to go to Google first and research than going to Amazon, from personal experience. So you may find that people over under 40, 50, they will go to Google and use that as the search engine to then see the ads that appear at the top to find a product and purchases. So sometimes for your product also lands on the bracket of all people, you can find a good potential there as well. Yeah. Awesome. Let's talk about the next one. Everybody talks about cannibalization of PPC. What do you think? Yeah, cannibalization has been a very famous term being used lately a lot in the space. It basically means that you're basically running your PPC campaigns, right? And what happens because you already have a strong what we call a presence organically at the top of the page, and then on top of that you're also running your PPC campaigns. You're basically what you're doing is you're at top of the placement, then you was on the first page organically, and you're basically stealing sales from a cell that is already secure because you're dominating on those keywords. However, the other side of the coin that people is also mentioning, and it's also a valid point when it comes to cannibalization, is that you need to consider that at the same time by turning off those campaigns, is very it's very likely that those spaces, placement that you're gonna leave open, is an opportunity for your competition to come in and steal some of your sales on those keywords. So see it as that as well. I know cannibalization is sometimes not gonna make you as profitable as you want some keywords, but sometimes you need to put on the balance. Do I prefer be less profitable and keep the dominance on this keyword, or open the door and leave my competition to come in, and then over time that can actually be more detrimental to my business? So that's something you need to analyze with your internal reporting, to make sure you take the right decision there as well. Okay. How does the Small and Light program work? So the Small and Light program is basically a program where with Amazon, if your product is certain size and weight, I don't remember specifically right now the requirements, but it is usually it needs to be like we are talking things that are very small, like the size of sunglasses or a phone case, or things that are very small that in a box that is it's usually like a letterbox kind of size. Usually you fall onto that program, and that's going to give you a reduced fee when it comes to the FBA fees. And I mean, I know some people that what they have done is they have redesigned the whole product in terms of how you package it, just to be able to go under exactly this specific what we call what we call requirements. So you have a much reduced what we call FBA fees, and you're gonna have a huge advantage there when it comes to competing, instead of having to pay the traditional FBA fees, which sometimes can be a big buck in the long term. Next question: how to segmentate keywords among my products? When it comes to segmentation, I mentioned this multiple times now, is always have to do when it comes to the keyword and the relevancy of your keywords related to your product. So basically, a very important thing you need to keep in mind is the number one thing you want to avoid is to have keywords with a very high search volume under the same campaign with other high search volume keywords, because then they're gonna kind of eat each other in terms of trying to compete for the same budget you're looking for that campaign. So try to always keep a search volume divided in terms of, you have a 10,000 search volume keyword, you don't want to have in the same campaign with a keyword have a 5 or 10,000 search volume as well. You want to segment it based on search volume. You also want to be able to maximum keep 2 to 3 keywords as a max on a campaign. It's going to give you better control when it comes to understanding what is happening at the keyword level. Usually we try to even do 1 keyword per campaign. This is going to for sure allow you to, it's going to come up with many campaigns, most likely for your PPC or a strategy, but at the same time it's very good because then you're going to know on a glance which keyword is performing, which one is not, and it's going to make sure every single keyword has their space to perform and showcase some kind of data for you to make a validated decision. The other thing you want to make sure is you don't want to combine exact phrase and broaden into the same campaign. You want to keep them divided. And also make sure when you do this exact phrase and broad, which I also mentioned multiple times in videos I have done, you want to make sure there is always a difference in terms of bit. So you give certain priority is, of course, to exact over phrase and phrase over broad and vice versa. Great. So let's see which other question we have in here. How do you recommend exact and expanded product training? So when it comes to targeting, this a new one. Expanded is basically, it's kind of like an automatic targeting now, but within product targeting it's kind of confusing. But basically what it means, if you put an ASIN now and you click exact, it's just gonna target that ASIN. If you put an ASIN and you click expanded product targeting, it's gonna target a close related products. It's gonna it's basically gonna target products related to the ASIN specifically. So that means it's gonna be transforming kind of like an automatic targeting, but for using that ASIN that you provide in the first place, like the seed information to identify which product can be related to this. Ideally, I will test both. Usually, exact is more tailored if you've done your research and you know exactly those are the ASINs. But if you want to do some kind of exploratory campaign, you can for sure use the expanded one. Yeah. And next one, I lost my buy box due to AC claims. What should I do? Yes, in this instance, this most likely has to do because we were doing some kind of FBA maybe fulfillment that they didn't receive the product in time. Most of the time, that's the issue we have encountered with some of our clients that do FBM. So with this, the only way you can fix this, you need to reduce your defect rate in terms of delivery time, the history of those deliveries. This just by trying to make more sales, which I know sometimes difficult because you lost the buy box in the first place, but nevertheless usually these last 6 days. So if was some just during a specific week that you fall off because an issue within your logistics and so on, usually this gets fixed very very quickly. If it wasn't something massive that is a huge amount of units that got a little delay, and then it's going to take you time to basically override that. But usually it's pretty fast if it's just something that happened during 3 4 days that increase your percentage or 1%. But if the amount of sales that then as the 60 days start shifting, then start capturing sales that were positive for you, the percentage eventually gonna go down again and you're gonna win the buy box. And final question of the day: does the honeymoon period of the nascent restart when launching a new marketplace? Yes. I mean, when you're launching a new marketplace, it's like launching from the first time, regardless of the ASIN being existing already. And it's a new marketplace, I'm using new keywords and everything. So yes, it will restart. That's why I will make sure when launching to a new marketplace, you do it in advance, understanding you're gonna be having inventory ready in a short period of time, and so on. Because last time you want to avoid, which happens a lot, is basically send a, basically launching the listing in a new marketplace, and then finding out that basically you're not going to have the inventory in the country for, I don't know, maybe at least another 2 or 3 months, which is going to be very bad for the history of your listing. Okay. Awesome, guys. So thank you very much for all those questions. We actually have many more that I'm not going to be able to cover today, unfortunately, but I'm going to make sure to keep doing this session as often as possible and try to keep the commitment on a weekly basis. It's just this last couple of months, it's been crazy busy, which is good. But yes, at the same time, we're always going to make sure that our episodes, at least with our guests, go on a weekly basis. They always been there, so please check those last episodes. As I mentioned, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. That helps us a lot. And finally, any questions, guys, I'm here for you. You can find me anywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Everybody knows I'm answer within 24 hours always, or somebody from my team. Always happy to help. In the meantime, if we don't see each other before Christmas, wish you an amazing Christmas. Take care and smash it on this Q4. Okay, take care, guys. Bye bye.